Welcome guys to a new video. Today we're testing the game Shadow Warrior 3 on the RTX 3050 Ti, and our target in the video is 60 FPS or above 60, and if we cannot target 60 we're targeting 30 FPS. So we will start with 1080p low settings without dlss, without nothing. And let me change this one. So now this is 1080p low settings without dlss, without nothing for now. So let's continue. So in 1080p low settings without dlss, without nothing, low setting, we're getting 80, 85, 100. Yeah, we're getting 80, 85, 100, 130, 135. So it's playable, it's very smooth. So remember, this is 1080p low settings, not even 1440p, not even 4K. So this is 1080p low settings with DLSS, without DLSS, without nothing, and we're getting very good performance. We're getting 100, 120, 130. So remember, this is not 4K, 1080p low settings without DLSS, without nothing. And we're getting very good performance. We're getting 100 FPS, 190, 100, so in the hundreds. So like I told you, this is not 4K, sorry, 1080p low settings with DLSS, without DLSS, without nothing. So in 1080p low settings without DLSS, without nothing, we're getting 100 FPS. Very smooth. Very smooth. It's playable. So we're getting very good performance. So like I told you, we're getting very good performance. So remember, this is 1080p low settings without DLSS, without nothing. And we're getting very good performance. We're getting 100 FPS, 140, 130, so we're getting very good performance. So now let's try using DLSS. So now this is 1080p low settings with DLSS in quality. In quality. So in 1080p low settings with DLSS quality, you can see we're getting 100, 140, 130. So it's still above 60. Very smooth and very easy. Yeah, we're getting above 60, very smooth and very easy. But remember, this is 1080p low settings with DLSS in quality, and we're getting 100, 140, 130. So we're getting 100. $133, so we're getting very good performance. Very good performance. So now let's try DLSS balance. Just wait a little bit. I need to kill this one. So now let's try balance. Okay, let me fix the problem. There. But no, why? So now this is 14 for 1080p low settings with DLSS balance, and you can see we're getting 100 still. We're getting 100 FPS, very smooth. Even without DLSS, we're getting 100 FPS. So this is, like I told you, 1080p low settings with DLSS balance, and we're getting 100 FPS. Very smooth. Very smooth, and it's playable, like I told you. But remember, this is 1080p low settings, not even high settings. So now let's go to performance. Just wait a little bit, I need to heal myself first. Oh, I'm dead. So now let's go to performance. So now this is 1080p low settings with DLSS and performance. So this is 1080p low settings with DLSS in performance, and you can see we're getting 100, 140, 130, 143, 140, we're still above 60, very easy. So this is 1080p low settings with DLSS in performance, and we're getting very good numbers. But remember, this is low settings, not even medium settings. So now let's try just wait a little bit. I need to heal myself first. So now let's try. So this is high set. So this is low settings with DLSS and performance. So now let's go to medium settings. So now this is 1080p medium settings without DLSS, without nothing. In medium settings without DLSS, without nothing, you can see we're getting 70, 75, 76, 79. So we are in the 70s. Before we're getting 100 in low settings. Now we're getting 70s, but still very good and still playable. So this is, like I told you, 1080p medium settings. You can see we're getting 70s, 80s, so we're getting very good performance still. So it's playable. We're not getting 90s, but it's playable. So now let's try DLSS. So with DLSS quality, so this is 1080p medium settings with DLSS quality. In 1080p medium settings with DLSS quality, you can see we're getting 100 FPS now. 100, 110. So we jump from 90s, from 80s, 90s to 100. So this is for 1080p medium settings with DLSS quality. So now let's try. Let's go to balance now. I don't know why it happened. Okay, let's fix it. So now this is for 1080p medium settings with DLSS balance. In 1080p medium settings with DLSS balance, you can see we jump to the 90s. So now we are 90, 95, in the 90s. 100. So this is 14 for sorry, not 1440p, 1080p medium settings with DLSS. Let me check. Yeah, this is 1080p medium settings. Let me check if it's medium settings. Yeah, so this is 1080p medium settings with DLSS imbalance, and you can see we're getting 100, 140, 80s, so we're getting 180s and 90s, so we're getting very good performance. Very good performance indeed. So remember, this is 1080p medium settings with DLSS imbalance, and we're getting very good performance. We're getting 100 FPS, very smooth. So it's playable. So now let's go to performance now. So now this is 1080p medium settings with DLSS performance, and let me check if it's changed. Yeah, this is in performance. In performance, you can see we're getting 100 FPS, still very easy. So it's still playable. But remember, this is 1080p, not even 1440p. And we're getting very good performance. We're getting 90, 100. So this is 1080p medium settings with DLSS balance. And we're getting 100 FPS, 140, 144, 90s, so we're getting very good performance. So now I need to heal myself first. So now let's go to So this is, like I told you, for 1080p medium settings with DLSS performance. So now let's go to high settings. First we will try it without DLSS. So in 1080p high settings without DLSS, you can see we're getting 60s and 70s. 60, 65, we are between 60s and 70s. So this is 1080p high settings without DLSS, without nothing, and we're getting 60s and 70s. You can see we're getting 60s, 65, 70s. So like I told you, we're getting 60s and 70s. So now let's try using DLSS.
Wow! Did you see that shot? No? Oh yeah, because you were too busy dying.
Let's try using DLSS. So now this is 1080p high settings with DLSS quality. So with 1080p with DLSS quality, you can see we're getting 90s, 100. So we're getting very good performance. 90, 92, 93, 100. So we're getting very good performance, like I told you. So this is 1080p high settings with DLSS quality, and you can see we're getting 80, 85, 90s. So we're getting very good performance. It's playable. So now let's try. Just wait a little bit longer. So now let's go to performance. Not performance, let's go to balance now. Oh, sorry. So now this is 1080p high settings with DLSS balance. In balance, you can see we're still in the 80s and the 90s, 80, 85, 70s, so we're still above 60 very easy. So it's still playable. So this is 1080p high settings with DLSS balance. And we're getting 80, 85, 87, not 87, yeah 87, but not always. But still playable. So now let's go to, I think let's go to performance. Let's try performance. That's enough for balance. So now this is 1080p high settings with DLSS in performance. In performance, we jump to the 90s. Before in balance, we are in the 80s. Now we are in the 90s. So this is 1080p high settings with DLSS in performance, and we're getting 90s, 90, 95, 80, 81, so we mix between 80s and 90s. So remember, this is 1080p high settings with DLSS performance, and we're getting 80s and 90s. 70s, so it's mixed like I told you. So now let's try. Just wait a little bit. I need to heal myself and then so now let's try. So this is, like I told you, 1080p high settings with dlss performance, and you can see we're getting 80s and 90s. So now let's go to 1440. So in 1440p low settings, you can see we're getting 40s now. So this is 1440p low settings. Without DLSS, without nothing, we're getting 80, 85. Yeah, we're getting 80s, 60s and 70s. So this is 1440p low settings without DLSS, of course, without nothing, and we're getting 80s and 70s and 90s. So it's mixed between 80s and 60s and 70s and 90s. So like I thought, this is 1440p low settings without DLSS, and visually it's better than 1080p. And it's bright. So like I thought, this is 1440p low settings, and we're getting 60s and 70s and 90s. And 80s. So performance it's better, and visually it's better. But remember, this is 1440p low settings, but visually it's better. So now let's try using DLSS with it. Just wait a little bit longer, I need to do something. So let's try using DLSS. So now this is 1440p lowest settings with DLSS in balance. With DLSS in quality, and you can see we're getting 100 FPS, and still visually it's better. But remember, this is 1440p low settings, and visually, like I told you before, it's better. And we're getting 90s, 99, 100, 120, 111. So we're getting very good performance. So this is 1440p low settings with DLSS in quality. So now and that. Okay, so now let's try. Let's go to a balance. So now this is 1440p lowest settings with DLSS in balance. In balance, we jump to the 90s. 90, 99, 90s, 80s, so we are between 90s and 80s. So So in balance we are so in 1440p low settings with DLSS balance we're getting 90s and 80s, and in DLS in 1440p low settings with DLSS in quality we're getting 90s and 80s and 100. Not that difference, it's the same numbers, not that difference between performance, sorry, not performance, between balance and quality, not that difference. So we're getting above 60 very easy. So this is 1440p, like I told you, medium settings, so not medium settings, low settings with DLSS balance, and we're getting very good performance. It's playable. So now it's playable. So now let's try performance. Let's go to performance. So in balance it's playable, but let's try performance if we can get more performance. So now this is 1440p low settings with DLSS in performance. Okay, in performance you can see we're getting not that big difference. We're getting 100 FPS, still 199. So we're not above 100, and we're not under 99, 98. So this is 1440p low settings with DLSS in performance, and we're getting very good performance. It's playable like this, trust me. It's playable. So now let's try just a little bit. I need to heal myself first. Oh, there is no healing. Okay, so now let's try. So this is 1440p low settings with DLSS performance, like I told you, and I'm getting 99, 100. So now let's go to medium settings. And I'm dead. But let's go to medium settings now. Just wait a little bit. I need to do something. So now let's go to medium settings. So now this is 1440p medium settings, without DLSS, without nothing. In medium settings you can see we're getting 40s, 40, 45, 46, in the 40s. And when we do a finishing move, we'll jump to the 50s. But still we are above 30, but under 60. But remember, our target in the video is 60 or above 60. So now let's try. Just wait a little bit. I need to heal myself. But still playable. You can play it in like this. but we're not above 60, trust me. But like I told you before, our target in the video is 60 or above 60. So now let's try using DLSS now. So now this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS and quality. With DLSS, so this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS quality. So in 1440p medium settings with DLSS quality, we jump to the 60s. We are in the 60 and the 70s, 60, 65, 70. So this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS quality, and we're getting 70s, 70, 72, 75, 60. So we're getting very good performance. So remember, this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS quality, not performance, not balance, it's only quality. So now let's try balance now. So now let's try balance. So now this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS balance. In balance we jump, we're still in the 60s, between 60s and 70s. 60, 67, 50s. So this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS balance, and we're getting 60s and 70s, but we're jumping to the 50s, but not always, but still very good performance. So like I thought, this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS balance, and we're getting 60s and 70s and 50s, but not always 50s. So it's mixed, like I told you, 60s and 50s and 70s. So now let's try using performance. And that's enough for balance. So now this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS performance, and we're getting 60s and 50s, still the same numbers, and 70s now. So it's mixed between, wait a little bit, it will take a little bit time to. So now we're getting 70s. So in performance, so in 1440p medium settings with DLSS performance, we're getting 70s and 80s, not 60s. 70s, not 80s, 70s and 60s. So this is 1440p high medium settings with DLSS in sorry. So like I told, this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS and performance, and we're getting 70, 75, and 60s, so it's mixed between 60s and 70s. So like I told you, it's mixed between 60s and 70s. So remember, this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS in balance, and we're getting 60s and 70s mix. And dropping to the 50s, but not always, like I told you. But still playable, like I told you. It's still playable. It's still playable. You can play it like this. But we're getting 60s and 70s. But not always 70s, like I told you. Not always. So now let's go to... So remember, this is 1440p medium settings with DLSS performance. So now let's go to high settings. So 1440p high settings, we're getting 30s, 30, 38, 39, so in the 30s. So we're getting 30s, like I told you. 39, so this is 1440p high settings, and we're getting 30, 30s and 40s. This is without DLSS. So now let's try using DLSS. Just wait a little bit longer. Okay. So now let's try using DLSS. So with 1440p high settings with DLSS quality, we're still in the 40s, not that different, so we're still in the 40s. Yeah, we're still in the 40s, so this is 1440, no, we jump to the 70s now. So this is 1440p with DLSS quality, let me check. Yeah, quality. So this is 1440p high settings with DLSS quality, and we will jump to the 60s and the 70s. Yeah, we jump to the 60s and the 70s, from the 40s to the 60s and the 70s. So this is 1440p high settings, and we're using only quality, and we're getting very good performance. So now let's try let's wait a little bit, I need to kill them. Let's try now. Let's try balance. So now this is 1440p high settings with DLSS balance. In balance, you can see we're getting, just wait a little bit longer, it will take a little bit. No, it didn't change, so we need to change it to performance, and then I change it again to balance, because it need to fix. So in balance we are in the 50s, 50, 55, 60s, so we're in the 50s and the 60s. So this is 1440p high settings with dlss balance, and we're getting 50s and 60s, but not always 60s, but still playable like this, trust me. So now just wait a little bit longer, I need to paint this one. And end it. So you can see we're getting 50s and 40s. So this is 1440p high settings with dlss balance. So now let's try performance. So now this is 1440p high settings with dlss performance. In performance we are in the 60s. No. We're still in the 50s. 50, 55. Yeah, 50s. We are in the 50s. Still in the 50s. So remember, this is 1440p high settings with dlss and performance. And we're still in the 50, 55, 53. Not 60. We jumped to the 60s, but not always. So it's mixed between 50, 55, 57 and 60, but not always. So now let's try, let's wait a little bit, I need to do something. You can see we're getting 40s now, 40s and 50s, so mix. So now let's try, let's go to 4K now, that's enough for 1440p. So now this is 4K lowest settings without dlss, without nothing. I think this is 4K lowest settings, let me check. Yeah, this is, no, it didn't change, sorry. So now this is 4K, okay. So now this is 4K lowest settings without dlss, without nothing. And 4K, we're getting 14, 15, so we're getting very good, very bad performance. It's unplayable like this. So let's try using dlss. So this is 4K lowest settings. Wait, let me try without, didn't change. Yeah, this is now 4K lowest settings. Without dlss, without nothing, and without dlss, without nothing, you can see we're getting 20, 25, 23, it's unplayable, no one play it like this. So let's try using dlss. With dlss quality, still unplayable. Let's try balance, and I think it didn't change because I didn't make it. Yeah, it changed, okay. So in balance you can see we're getting 20, 25, 23, so it's still unplayable, no one will play it like this. So let's try performance, and then we will go to medium settings. Even in so this is 4K low settings with dlss performance, and we're getting 30, 35, 37, so it's playable. But this is 4K low settings with dlss performance, it's playable, but no one will play it like this, trust me. because visually it's worse. It's very bad. So now let's try where I am going. Okay, so now let's try. Let's go to medium settings now. So now 4K medium settings, it's unplayable. No one will play it like this, trust me. So let's try then adding dlss. With dlss quality, it's unplayable. Let's try balance. Still unplayable. Let's try performance. Still unplayable. So let's go then to high settings. That's enough for so now this is 4K with high settings without dlss. Without dlss it's unplayable. So let's try quality. Still unplayable. Let's try balance again in high settings. Yeah, still unplayable. It's the same thing. So let's try it in performance. It's unplayable like this. No one will play it like this, trust me. So in the end of the video, if you want to play it in 1080p high settings with dlss in quality, because DLSS quality it's better than native 1080p. And if you want to play it in 1440p, play it in medium settings or play it in high settings with DLSS in balance. In high settings with DLSS in balance. In medium settings, play it with DLSS in quality. And in low settings in 1440p, play it in using DLSS quality even in low settings. So thank you, and like and subscribe for the channel.